NHL land. I'm Perlo Wisdom, and you're listening to Pucking Deep. Pucking Deep, where we go in deep into all the NHL action that's going on, things going around the league. Of course, it's Stanley Cup playoffs right now, and we have one more round to get finished up in the first, but we're already starting the second round. And I brought in Ron Mont from RNJ Media again to give his pearls on some of the things that the goings on that's happened in the NHL. We'll be looking at, of course, the Philadelphia Flyers Carolina series, a little maybe look back at some of the goings on that happened in that Pittsburgh series. Also, we'll be taking a look at the Edmonton Oilers. I think you absolutely have to after going out in the first round against the Anaheim Ducks. Lots of scuttlebutt about, of course, McDavid and which direction they're going to be going. I actually did a little bit of video on my take on what may happen there. You might want to check that out. And we'll look at the Tampa-Montreal series and maybe some other series as we go as well. Ron, so yeah, for you, this is you obviously being a Philadelphia Flyers fan. Philadelphia Flyers going beyond expectations in this season, that's for sure. I certainly didn't have them making the playoffs, but what are your takes on that Pittsburgh series? What were your expectations going into that series, and how do you think it all played out there?
Well, first of all, thank you all very much for tuning in and checking us out, man. We are definitely puck in deep because we know puck. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of great things here for sure. Be sure to hop on over to Perlo's channel to get signed up over there. Make sure you sign up there on his Twitter page or X page and get signed up there as well to get all your great information to put all your bets out there for sure. So, Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. I'll be honest with you. We were more expecting the Phantoms to make the playoffs and the Flyers to not make the playoffs. It was the exact opposite, where the Flyers made the playoffs and the Phantoms did not. Philadelphia played as expected against Pittsburgh. The season series was pretty gnarly to begin with. And this series lived up to the gnarliest of Pennsylvania versus Pennsylvania teams. I mean, this was ugly. There were just, I saw things that I had never seen in hockey before. As far as just like what guys were getting away with, what guys weren't getting away with, what was called, what wasn't called, there was no consistency at all. You know what I mean? As far as what the refs were calling, as far as how that's concerned. But I will say this. I really liked that Philadelphia was able to live up to the shot suppression type team that they were and were able to basically shut down. You didn't really hear anything about Malkin. You didn't hear anything really about Crosby except for that one game where he got 2 assists, and then the one other game he got a goal. But other than that, he really wasn't a factor. Malkin really wasn't a factor for the most part. It was Sonberg and Witherspoon and some of their other guys that were more factors than Malkin and Crosby. Letang had a pretty good series, I thought. But I got to tell you something, though, man. I think the league needs to look at Mantha. I saw things that I wasn't expecting players to get away with ripping helmets off without getting penalized. And not once, but 3 times. And it wasn't called ever. And I know that 2 of them were right in front of the ref. Okay. And a couple of sucker punches that happened too that were happening right in front of the ref that weren't called. Other than that, hey, man, Darth Vladar, man, 2 shutouts, dude. Look, Pittsburgh said, oh, we got Skinner. And they played Skinner for the first 3 games, and he got lit up. Philadelphia lit him up. And they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll take him out, put the other guy in, and suddenly then Pittsburgh wins 2 games. And then they take that third, game 6 there to the end, right? So you didn't really have goaltending. You're kind of suspect on the team. I think. I mean, that they got Muser up as a Jack Adams finalist for just even getting the Penguins to the playoffs. If you're going to put him in there for that reason, I think you would have to put Rick Tocchet in, because he got to the playoffs, because nobody was expecting Philadelphia to make it to the playoffs, right? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, my unpopular take, but Rick Tocchet was my pick to win the Adams this year. I knew he wasn't going to win it, but he was my pick.
Okay,
to win the Adams this year.
But
so I mean, rough getting it. Cooper getting the token. He's got to get one eventually, and this might be the last chance, because I don't know. We'll talk about Tampa when we get there, but rough getting it is fine. I mean, he's worked hard with that Buffalo team for the last 2 years to get them to understand and be able to do his. And I have people that disagree with me here. Very complex system in comparison to like a Rick Tocchet system. It's a very effective system, but it's physically tough to do, and it's mentally. It's a lot of thought involved. You got to really have a good instinct to it. You got to work with your teammates well, and he's got them doing it. He's got them with belief, and
they're buying in. They're buying.
Yeah,
in.
They're buying in. They're buying in.
I like him better. I like him better because Buffalo started off their first 20 games were not really that great.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, it took them a while. Yeah.
And so it took a minute for them to kind of get in gear, and then once they did, it was like lights out, right?
Yeah, I was saying last year when I was on the Ice Guys, I was saying that once that clicks, if it clicks with those young players, because I think Ruff is a great coach.
Yeah,
I think he's fantastic. I've always loved him. I thought it was a big mistake for New Jersey to let him go, and once it clicked, watch out, because that team has got all the pieces. But I mean, yeah, if he gets it, that's fine. In my mind, this is the way I see it. The reason why I like him for Tocchet for the Adams. Tocchet's system is goaltender friendly. Let's face it. Yeah, you brought in a Vladar.
It's defense heavy, right?
He did it in Arizona with Kemper. Kemper's never had a year like he did back when he was in Arizona, even though he won the Cup. When he won the Cup there with Colorado, he wasn't really stellar.
No.
So, but he had incredible numbers when he was with Rick Tocchet. Rick Tocchet figures out his goaltender, figures out what his weaknesses are, and teaches his players how to play to have shots go into their strengths. And he plays that layered zone system in a 1-3-1 that is very goaltender friendly. And he did it with Vladar, who was a career backup. And I'm giving credit to Vladar. Vladar still played extremely well, but he certainly has a goaltender friendly coach. So he did. He took a bunch of guys that were really struggling defensively, like Zegras this year. He bought in. I didn't see that coming. Everybody seemed to buy into what he was saying, except for, they're struggling a little bit with Michkov, but I think Michkov is going to be fine. I think all of that stuff is a bunch of nonsense. It's going to be absolutely fine with Michkov. It's just some growing. He's just growing and learning. That's all. It's fine. And he seems to have, he's a very competitive person, and he gets frustrated. Okay, that's good. That's good. Be better than just, slouching your shoulders and saying, "Oh shucks," and walking away, like you see a lot of players do. So I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Draisaitl under him has just blossomed. He's been very good. Ristolainen is just like he is. He was always getting better, but I think he's really blossomed under him. And like you said, I didn't think they were never had a thought that Philadelphia was making the playoffs this year. No, I'd never even had a thought. Now, you can say the same thing for Pittsburgh. I didn't have a thing. I'm not saying Muse is a bad choice. I'm not saying that. But they did have more. He did have more veterans to work with. Goaltending was kind of an issue, but really they played a very offensive style game that out finessed the opposition in the regular season, which I thought was not going to translate well into the playoffs. And we see that.
Well, they tried to basically clog up the neutral zone and prevent you from coming into their zone. And
sort of, yeah.
They were not able to prevent Philadelphia from doing that enough. They were able
They play around with the puck too much in the offensive zone.
Right.
They try to make too many cute passes through the neutral zone. All that kind of stuff. You're going to get killed against a system like Philadelphia.
Anyway.
And they came back with Sheloffs, and then it was... Anyways, this next series, we'll flip it over here.
So
Carolina Hurricanes
because Philadelphia wins, they get the luxury of facing Carolina, who's been they had a 4-game sweep, right? And they basically have been kicking back now for over a week now, right? So here we go. I'm going to be honest with you. If of all the teams in the East, right, who would you have wanted Philadelphia to go up against?
In the second round?
Yeah.
Montreal.
That was never going to happen.
Well, it wasn't likely, no. But I mean, if I had to take a choice, I would say Montreal.
Okay, or maybe Ottawa.
I don't know. Ottawa is a very similar system. Montreal, they still have issues in their bottom six. They still have issues with shutting teams down and stuff. So I think Montreal, they have a system that could have did some damage against Montreal.
Okay, but we don't think
certainly wasn't Carolina. I'll tell you that.
Okay, was definitely not hoping for the Carolina series, but that's what it's going to be. That's how it's going to shake down. You're going to see for the first time ever, Philadelphia Flyers are going to face against the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round of the Eastern Conference Stanley Cup playoffs here, man. And for the first time ever, you're going to see Rod Brind'Amour in Philadelphia for a playoff game. And that might go very interestingly. The Carolina Hurricanes are 3-0-1 against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is 1-0-3 against Carolina. So they technically haven't lost in regulation. Okay. So that's great, but you still lost 3 of them in overtime. So unfortunately, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, when you lose in overtime, you still lose. That doesn't give you any points or any, you know what I mean? That counts as a loss, right? So, frankly, if we get 5 games out of this, Perlo, I will be impressed. I really will. And if the games stay like, 3-4, 2-4, 3-2, 2-1, if they're tight and close, I'll be happy. But I'm really not expecting Philadelphia to be able to come out of this series at all.
Yeah. No, I don't either. Basically, Philadelphia plays a less complex. They play a 1-3-1 against a all over the ice, man on man. That's tough to go up against with that. Philadelphia. Talking about the regular season, I look back. 2 of those games, Carolina didn't have Slavin or Nikishin in the lineup.
Nikishin, yeah, right.
Yeah, Nikishin in the lineup. That was they were kind of Carolina was kind of struggling at that time. They also had regular season Anderson for two of them, which is way different than playoff Anderson, as you can tell. And the other two were the kid there later in the season when he was struggling. So I mean, and now we saw, like, I made a mistake with Ottawa because I looked at the regular season stuff, and I never do this, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because my love of the Kachucks. Maybe I have to admit that I have the love of I have a love my love of the Kachucks gave me a bias in that series, but you see the regular season 2 times Ottawa kept Carolina to 19 shots, once at home and one on the road. Right. And that was with the full roster. So I thought maybe they could do it in the playoffs. No.
We'll see.
No.
Carolina's got that other gear, man. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like with what Colorado did. Colorado came out and just was like, they swept their team as well. You know what I mean? And it was like, all right, I get it. Okay, like these teams are built more for playoffs than they are necessarily for regular season. Like the regular season is just kind of like a springboard to get to the playoffs, because it's nothing until you get to the playoffs, right?
Well, and not only that, you look at the Philadelphia Carolina regular season. Okay, for Philadelphia, Carolina coming in, those guys are pumped. Philadelphia Flyers, right? This is a measuring stick game for them. They're zoned, man. They're
measuring
in their zen.
Stick? Are you kidding?
They're in the room, like, and Carolina's like, okay, we got Philadelphia today. All right, so what are we doing today? No. Like, they don't care. They were already first in the division in Philadelphia at the time early. They weren't even a playoff spot.
No.
So they're not like getting all pumped up for Philadelphia because Brind'Amour used to play for them and stuff like that. This is different. This is the playoffs now. 7-game series, full on Carolina playing at the top of their ability. If Philadelphia is going to win one, it's probably today because they had a week off and it might take a while for them to get going. So that can be a problem with teams for sure. But I just think they're too strong. I look at, like, if they play like they did against Ottawa from pin to pin, like they did against Ottawa from pin to pin, a sweep is not a surprise to me. They're going to be Philadelphia might get 15 shots in a lot of these games if they're lucky. 15 shots. That's about all I could see that.
Wow.
Because Carolina is such a shot suppression team, and they keep you pinned in your offensive zone so much. They're going to beat the crap out of that defense. And Philadelphia, one thing I will look at in the regular season is they're the second or third worst shot production team in the NHL. They don't get shots. So you got this stifling offensive possession team that burns you out in the offensive zone and then swallows you up in the defensive zone, going up against a team that doesn't get shots doesn't get shots at the best of times.
Yeah, right.
So I mean, I've heard people that are really, they're putting a lot behind Philadelphia here. And I mean, I think they're going to grind as hard as they can. They're going to play tough. They're going to, do everything. And that's nothing against what I think Philadelphia will be. I think there's a lot of great pieces there. Another thing I heard is Tippett's hurt or something, and Bunt is, and what's his name? Bump is going to be taking his spot on the top line. That is a huge loss. Holy crap. So, yeah. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll be very surprised if I'm not wrong.
Well, I haven't seen anything about
Philadelphia maybe pulls one out.
I haven't seen anything about that per se. The last I heard was that Emile Andre might have been nicked up a little bit, and they had Jolson back in for that final game there against Pittsburgh. So I'm not really sure how that's all going to pan out.
It might be some I don't know. Might be some
gamesmanship going on, maybe.
Maybe, but I mean, I don't know if that.
Because,
That's
they
kinda
don't
silly,
have
isn't
to
it?
divulge anything. You know what I mean? They don't. But I tell you what, though,
That's why I gotta remember that next time, because Edmonton did that gamesmanship with Anaheim, and I gotta remember that, keep my keep that in my memory, that if I ever hear a team saying stuff is getting leaked out, the players are hurt and stuff, don't do that nonsense, because they if they wouldn't be letting that leak out anywhere. So I'm looking at
exactly.
it right now. Yes, Tippett is not in the lineup today.
Wow. So that's a
Alex
big
Bump,
out.
Zegers, Martone. That's a big loss. Big loss.
That's a big
One
loss.
of the
That is
one of
a
the
big loss for
most underrated
Philadelphia
shutdown
because,
wingers in the
and
game.
he's
Yeah.
he's one of the guys that is a hit producer. He's a shot producer.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, he's on the
He's
top power
great
play unit.
free zone defensive shutdown
Right.
offensive player. Very
Right.
good.
And he's a
Very
big
good.
body out there too. That's gonna hurt bad. So
That's gonna hurt a lot.
but I'm gonna say this. I was a little unsurprised, of course, with Colorado sweeping. Okay. But I
No, I
gotta
wasn't
tell you,
sure.
man, the whole Minnesota Dallas. My Dallas team got smoked. Now they were missing Rupe Hintz for 80% of that series. In fact, I think all of that series he was out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and Minnesota just had the swag, had the girdle strapped on, whatever you want to call it, right? They had the jam, right? And Dallas didn't. Okay.
Yeah. With the Dallas series, what blew me away there, and I don't know, man. I didn't have a read on Gullickson, but the Dallas was playing way too slow out of their zone, man. That was crazy. They weren't moving the puck anywhere near quick enough against that speedy Minnesota team. And so which people, why are they having so many problems on 5-on-5? That's why. You you watch Minnesota, like Quinn Hughes, that guy moves the puck out of zone maybe better than anybody, except for maybe Makar. And I think better than Makar. Makar might be better, but probably foot speed and stuff. There's a lot of things that you can go back and forth with whether you like Hughes or Makar, and I'm not going to argue with you.
Well, how's this for you? How's this for you, right? Quinn Hughes, since he's been there, 80% of the puck goes through him.
Yeah.
80% of the time, the puck goes through him.
Yeah.
Right? Since he's been there. I don't know about you, but that's more than Makar. That's more than, okay, right? So,
yeah. So, I mean, if they got to, I don't know, Gullickson's got to change something there, because you can't be moving that slow through out of the defensive zone and the neutral zone. And
well, I'll tell you what, this is going to be one heck of a series here, this Minnesota-Colorado series. I mean, I thought that Dallas was going to be – I picked Dallas to go all the way to win the Cup this year. So, I mean, clearly I am wrong, but Minnesota coming into the Colorado.
Yeah.
I don't know if Minnesota is going to be able to handle that juggernaut.
I mean, a lot of people are going to take Minnesota because they look so good against Dallas. And kudos to them to capitalizing on a Dallas team that I thought played like garbage. I really thought it's hard to get for me to judge how good of a Minnesota team is, because Dallas played like garbage.
Yeah, Ottinger did not have his best series.
I guess. I mean, I wouldn't peg that on Ottinger. I'm
not putting it all on him.
That on coaching.
I mean, I'm not putting it all on him, You understand what I'm saying? But there
Yeah,
was some goals there because I watched a couple of those games, and there was some goals there that he probably should have had.
yeah. They were
You know what I
letting
mean?
high danger chances all over the place. I don't know what the hell they were
His
doing.
team wasn't playing in front of him.
No, it was terrible.
It was,
But
right?
I say we have a couple people. Thank all of you people watching here. Thanks for coming in, by the way. And Credibeck says Abs will win in 6, and I agree with that. That's what I think. Abs will win in 6. There's no. I predicted that the Abs would not lose more than 6 games in the playoffs. I'm a little bit concerned about that because I also think it's going to be Carolina, Colorado in the finals. But my lean here is I think Minnesota's going to give her a good shot. I mean,
Yeah,
they're going to.
Yeah, I agree.
At the LA series, like people are saying, well, it was a 4-game series, but they were tough games. Colorado was playing with their food, man. Colorado was just like, okay. It was like that little runt that has a temper that comes at you, and you put your hand on his forehead, and you just kind of like,
And he's swinging away, right?
how long
And he's
are we
not
going to
even
do
hitting
this
you.
for? Yeah. I don't want to I don't want to hurt myself. I'm not going to like physically exert myself here. I just okay. You hit me. All right. See you later.
Yeah, right. That's perfect. That's the perfect way I would describe that with Colorado. Oh my gosh.
Because they weren't even hitting anybody. You watch that game, Colorado was not initiating contact at all. They were just using their stick to take the puck off of LA's. And then when they were in their own zone, LA would come up and hit them, and they'd be like, oh, geez, that's annoying. And then it was unbelievable. And the one time that they were down 2-1, they turned on the Jets in the third period, and it was like, okay, this is over. Like, it was like immediately you were like, yeah, Colorado's going to win this game. Just take that live. No doubt about it. So every time I saw Colorado put full effort this year against teams, they dummied teams. And now that was the regular season. I think it's going to be harder against Minnesota. But anytime that they put on the burners, man, that team is just unbelievable. And you got Wedgwood playing out of his head, best defensive team in the league. Minnesota gives up a lot of shots, actually. They were like 5th or 6th in the league in shots.
Yeah.
Not high danger. They play a system that they try to get their goaltender to see the shots and stuff like that. But when you're playing against a Colorado team that can pick corners like they do, you got to be able to shot suppress a little better than they do. And Dallas – Dallas wasn't shooting worth a darn. If they did get in the offensive zone, they were making little passes and blah, blah, blah. It was just like, who do you think you're going up against here? Like, come on, man. Dallas played absolutely horrible. So I think Colorado
Minnesota absolutely took it to them, even though Dallas's power play in that series was lethal.
Yeah, their 5-on-5 is horrible though.
Okay, but what I'm saying though is that, Minnesota was just playing on a different level, right? You see some of the comments that are flying in here, right?
Yeah, Abs full effort can lose to this Wild team, I suppose. I wouldn't put my money on it. No way.
So let's do that, right? Because we still have.
Okay, so then Tampa Bay, Montreal. I had Tampa Bay in 6 or 7, and now it's 7. I still think that's going to be the case. No disrespect for this Montreal team. I just think they're very top heavy still yet, and they still have some work to do. Dobish, they found their number 1. I don't know what they're going to do with this Fowler kid now. This Fowler kid is amazing too. Between the two of them, one of them is going to have to go eventually. I don't know, but
until then, man, that's a good problem to have for them.
Yeah,
right.
No disrespect to Montreal. This team could be an absolute powerhouse in 2 years, no doubt about that. They've got a lot of good pieces there, and I think they have smart management to add the right pieces. Bolduc playing much better in the playoffs. Doc playing much better in the playoffs than they did in the regular season. I didn't really see that coming, so that's been something for Tampa. And St. Louis is one of the most brilliant coaching minds I have ever seen. This guy is just an absolute beast, man. What do you think about this series so far?
I really like how Suzuki has stepped up. I really like how Cole Hudson has been playing on this team. You know what I mean? I do also agree too, because that was one of my question marks going into this series, was how was Dobish going to handle this? Because I didn't think he had his best regular season per se. I mean, he played really well down the stretch there, but he struggled at times during the season. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of what my question mark was going to be for Montreal. I didn't have any question marks about Tampa Bay because they've been there, done that. They have, I think, 8 or 9 players still on the team that were on the cup winning team in 21, right? So, I mean, Tampa Bay been there, done that. You know what I mean? And Montreal is still trying to find their way. But I absolutely agree with you, Perlo. I think with St. Louis as coach, I think with their young core that they've got there now and the guys that they've got rolling, and now that they've found their number one goaltender, I'm not surprised this has gone to 7 games. And I'll be honest with you, whoever wins this series is probably not going to win the next series.
I agree.
Right? So even if it's Montreal, even if they win, right, I think they're going to be so beat up that because they're going to be facing Buffalo.
Yeah.
Right? And so I just don't think, even if Tampa Bay wins, I still think Buffalo is going to take whoever comes out of this win.
I think the fact that Tampa Bay struggled this much with the Montreal team has me believing that the only thing about Buffalo is that they're very green and they were nervous against Boston a little bit and stuff like that. But if they can calm down the nerves, they have the system and the young legs. Montreal's got young legs too, but I just think Buffalo's bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. They've been building their team a little longer. All that kind of stuff like that. And I get a lot of Montreal fans saying, "Oh, you just hate Montreal." Absolutely not. I do not hate Montreal. I certainly don't hate the city of Montreal. Have you ever been there? It's freaking amazing.
I've never been there, but no.
Montreal is an awesome city, man. I love Montreal. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I've ever since Ryan St. Louis has been the coach there, right? I've really kind of been rooting for them. You know what I'm saying? Because I like him.
Yeah.
I really like him as a player, and I'm really liking him as a coach.
Oh, yeah.
And on Prospect Watch, I actually interviewed his son.
Yeah.
Okay. And his son told me that watching his dad play was a huge influence on how they were playing. Right?
Yeah.
So, man, I'll tell you what, Ryan St. Louis, by the way, go check that out, Prospect Watch. But
cool.
That's why I really liked Ryan St. Louis coaching Montreal. I think that's the perfect coach for them. And I'm seeing them kind of come back into contention again. You know what I mean? They were in the finals there for that minute. You know what I'm saying? And they had won it there not too long ago, right? But that wasn't with St. Louis. But still, I mean, I'm really happy seeing Montreal here, but I don't think they're going to be able to go up against Buffalo. And frankly, even if Tampa Bay won, I don't think they would be going up against Buffalo neither.
Yeah. Yeah, Tampa Bay's got that Gunsel, Sorelli, and Hagel line. That is the best shutdown line in the league. Like, they have basically prevented Caulfield and Suzuki line to be able to do much, and then dared Montreal to beat them with their lower lines. Now, unfortunately, they themselves have had problems with their depth scoring. Kucherov hasn't did much.
No.
They've had difficulties. The last 3 years they've lost in the first round. Now, it was to Florida and stuff, but I mean, this is getting a little worrisome. They're getting older. There's issues there in Tampa Bay as well. They're getting older and stuff. If Montreal does win, I'm happier than heck to see a young team like that just keep flying. And Buffalo-Montreal would be one heck of a series. I think Buffalo will win, but it would be exciting. 2 young teams like that, they would be a lot.
I agree.
So,
what I mean?
anyways, I think we gone through all
No,
the.
we got one more, man. We got one more left, and that's the Vegas
Oh
and
yeah,
the
Vegas.
Anaheim series, right?
Yeah.
So,
hmm
so here's a fun stat
Oh,
for
that'll
you.
segue into the McDavid stuff. Good,
There
perfect.
you go. So here's a fun stat for you, right? Since John Tortorella has been coach of the Vegas Golden Knights, including the regular season, he's 11 and playoffs. Okay, 11 and 2. He is right coming in to coach the the Vegas Golden Knights the last couple of games of the season, and then
hmm
winning this series here against Utah.
hmm
Um, what's really amazing about that stat is that they hadn't really been behind in any of those games for the most part since he's been coach there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. I thought Utah had a shot, but you could just tell that Vegas was going to be too good. You could just tell, right? And speaking of which, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but hey, how about Carter Hart playing for Vegas? Holy moly. Where
Yeah.
did that come from? I guess getting a year or two off kind of helped.
I guess right. He's got a high save percent. Like it's not. I don't think he's been stellar, but I mean, good for him. He's come back, and I mean, obviously Tortorella's trusting him. And but as far as the series is concerned, you watch Utah is a better all-around team than the Anaheim Ducks. Anaheim's played against Edmonton. What they did, great coaching. They put basically, he said, when that McDavid line's on the line, I want you to waste yourselves against them. Don't worry about saving energy for the other lines. Waste yourself against them. And that's what they did. They went out and just beat the crap out of them. They put full force. And then when you had then the Draisaitl, Podkolzin, and Kapanen line, they were kind of softened up and didn't have as much legs against them. So they got a couple more points, but their lower lines weren't going to do anything against them. They didn't have to worry about that. So they just keep on beating them, and that's how you beat that Edmonton team. I've said it a million times. They don't have enough forward depth, not just for offense, but for defense, for anything. They can't play against top competition. You don't have to worry about them. Last year in the finals, they got some high shooting percentages from some of those teams, and they got a little fortunate with a few things that happened there. They caught a Dallas team in the Western Finals that had Duchesne and Sagan and Ben were done. So they really were they didn't have depth themselves. Hintz was injured. So so that top line it was top line against top line, and I liked it. But Anaheim was smart. They did that. And, Oilers played 2 finals, condensed schedule. McDavid playing against absolute top lines all season long because their lower lines can't. They got to do something about that. If they have to get, and I did a video on it, and I'll show you how they can do it. But you talk about their D, they talk about their goaltending. That is not their worst problem. It's not. Their worst problem is that McDavid has to go up against the top line every single night. You find other top centers, generally their coach tries to keep them away from the other team's top line. Now on the road it's tougher to do that, but at home you try to keep them away. You got more of an advantage. Unfortunately, Knobloch has no choice but to play him against the top line to try to.
That's all he has.
And that's
all he has. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just going to kill you. So,
and see that's what I think was the key point right there, Perlo, in turning the tide in that series, right? Anaheim had more depth and was able to take advantage of the fact that Edmonton, and plus, McDavid was hobbled.
Yeah,
he was a little bit hobbled.
So was Dickinson. They were
okay, right? So they hobbled them guys. They pinned them guys down, man. They threw everything at them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know I don't know, man. I think this Anaheim Vegas, I think this is going to be an even better series.
I think it's going to be Vegas in 5, maybe
You
6.
think?
Yeah.
So, okay, so you think Anaheim kind of spent its juice there against
Anaheim. Anaheim is not. Anaheim has 2 players that are positive defensive players as far as
Yeah, okay.
can play a full sheet. Terry and Lacombe, and that is it.
Wow.
That's it. So their recipe for success is pure offensive. Keep you pinned into the zone, and you've got Anderson, Hannafin, Theodore. These guys are puck movers, man. If you think you're going to get in deep and pin those guys in, you got another thing coming. And if Anaheim has to play the majority of the time in their zone, or even half the time in their zone,
Yeah.
I don't know if you watched that how much you watched in that Edmonton Anaheim series, but when Anaheim was in their zone, they were fumbling the puck all over the place, and freaking, it was just like they were bouncing around everywhere. Had a difficult time getting out of the zone. I mean, I think it's going to be they just a young team that needs a lot of work and to improve. And against this Vegas team that's been there, done that against a Tortorella's. Now Tortorella's system seems to be in place. That last game against Utah, they shut them down, man. Utah could not do anything. That's the Tortorella team I'm used to seeing right there. And if that's the way they're going to play against Anaheim, I don't think Anaheim has a chance. I really don't think.
Yeah, I don't either. I wouldn't be looking for Anaheim to come out of there with any kind of. They might get a game, maybe. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I think Vegas, because
maybe 6. Give them some credit.
Yeah.
Quinville's a great coach. He's going to have them motivated. Maybe just out energy them at home a couple times or something like that. It could happen.
But Tortorella, man, has definitely lit the fire on this team right at the right time. Like, so they got hot right there at the end of the season, man, going into this playoffs, man, smoking, right? And so, there you go. Well, I'll tell you what, man. So yeah. Colorado, Minnesota. You still got Colorado?
I got Colorado in 6, yeah.
All right, and Vegas and Anaheim, you got Vegas in 6.
Vegas in 5 or 6, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Carolina, Philly, we think that's going to be
sweeper 5.
4. Yeah. Buffalo and whoever. If it's Montreal, Tampa Bay, I think that's going to be
Montreal, Tampa Bay. Oh, Buffalo and whoever. Yeah, I like Buffalo against whoever.
Doesn't matter if it's Tampa Bay.
I think Tampa Bay will put up Tampa Bay again. They're very opportunistic. They don't get rattled. That's what's great about the Tampa Bay Lightning. They don't get too high. They don't get too low. They're a veteran team and all that kind of stuff like that. And they could pull out a game or two just simply because Buffalo's nerves with being a young team and all that kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, but I think they worked that out against Boston.
I hope so.
Yeah, right. They hope so too, right?
Yeah. I think it'll probably be 6 or something like that. I think Tampa Bay will put up a fight, but I mean, watching that big defense move the puck, and when they get their speed going, if Tampa Bay is going to have everything they can do to be able to keep that team in under wraps. The only thing that has me kind of wondering is they are a young team, and now you're in the second round, you can make it to the third, so the pressure's even harder, especially at home. They've struggled at home a little bit with the hometown vibe and everything like that. They've been actually better and more relaxed on the road. They've been a little tight, so Ruff has got to say, like, hey guys, tune out the noise. You had I know you invited all your family, and we haven't been here in a long time, and I give you some grace, but now tell your family to go to heck. You show up if you want to show up. I don't want you calling me asking for tickets. I don't want when you go home, tell your girlfriend that We're gonna be in Mazatlan in Mexico after we win the cup or whatever. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I don't want anything.
So
I hear from you
and everything.
I need your emotional garbage right now. Whatever the case may be, pick up the phone, talk to your girlfriend, or maybe you got a gay friend that you can talk to. Just talk to them for hours and figure it out, and then I'll talk to you later. That's like really, you gotta just zone in right now. I'm not making. They're not paying me $7 million a year to solve your problems during the playoffs. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is.
Hey,
anyways, going back
if
to
you
that,
happen to be interested in wanting to pay me $7 million, I could probably help you out with some things there for the playoffs for you if you like.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean, right? Hey, you know.
But see that's the thing. The advantage with that Tampa Bay team is their wives, girlfriends, family, extended family, whatever. They know that already. They know that. They don't need to say anything. They've been there. They know.
They've been there, done that.
They've been there, done that. They know it's playoffs. Okay, honey. I'll go on vacation or whatever. Whatever you got to do, just get out of my hair. Take care of the house. Take care of the kids.
Yeah, right. I'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah. So,
hey, you know what?
Carolina scored again.
Oh man. Okay.
Okay. So Oilers. Kind of mad I didn't take. Hopefully they don't just absolutely crush him because I got Carolina money line at under 6.5. So.
We thought this was going to be. I mean, it's you got Sebastian Aho in there, and you got some more scoring depth in Carolina with some of the guys they got, man. And I'm just here to tell you, man, that's oh man,
there's way too much speed on this Carolina team, man.
Yep, there you have it, folks.
Way too much. This is gonna, like I said, it's gonna be a dummy series. It's over, man.
And a slice.
Yeah. Okay, so now finally we'll finish this off with, since we were talking about the Vegas series and Edmonton losing and all that, we got to talk about the whole McDavid drama. You know, he's got 2 more years left on his contract.
One now.
I think it's 2, isn't it?
No, he only signed a 2-year extension.
Oh yeah, it was a 2-year extension. Okay.
Right, so he only has 1 year left.
I mean,
$12 million.
It's pretty simple. It's all in, but the question is, what can anyways, in his interviews, both him and Draisaitl said, you know, I got to be better. Of course, they were smart enough to say that. You know, the team and the organization, everybody's got both of them. Very seldom does a team, even though they're saying, very seldom does a team call out upper management in public.
Well, yeah, you know.
And it's Nugent Hopkins 2000. He's a UFA 2028. Yeah, so yeah, you're right.
I don't know, man. I think he's gonna probably go. I don't think he's gonna stay in Edmonton because, especially now that they lost again this year. You know what I mean? Even though he does have 1 year left, I don't think the MGM and all that other stuff.
I was just like, it is just this year, or does he have 27, 28 too? I think he's got 27, 28. I could have swore he had 27, 28 too.
Yeah, he does.
Because it was a 2-year, but it was a 2-year, but it was in addition to the year that he was already in. That one,
yeah, he has
1 year.
He has all of next year.
Yeah, he's going to be here. He's got this next year, exactly. So,
right.
It's just plain and simple. He looks at the moves that they do. I mean, they're going to be all in. They're not going to prospect left. The cupboard is going to be compared. There's nothing left. Whatever cap space they have. I did a video on some of the things that they could do. that I think that they could do that makes sense. There's a couple Edmonton, Alberta boys that are out there that they might be able to pick up. I think that's what they're going to have to look at.
Right.
As far as goaltending is concerned, I will say this. This is something I mentioned in the video. I will tell you this one though. Well, the only goaltender I saw that made any sense was Stolarz. I just can't see, unless they dig something up from Europe or they do something fancy I'm not thinking of. The only other one is maybe if Detroit has a rough season and Gibson's on his last year, but LA wouldn't retain for him to go to Edmonton. I'm not sure if he would go to Edmonton. I'm not sure. I got the impression that because they wouldn't retain, they didn't want to pay the 6 something for Gibson to be there because they wouldn't have been able to have any wiggle room to add if they get injuries and stuff like that. I kind of get that. I thought the Ingram move wasn't bad, but I think Stolarz is the only one. He had a rough year last year, but before that, he showed signs of being a capable 1B, something like that, and just put him together. But they got to fix that neutral zone. They got to fix that. Get somebody on the top, somebody else besides Podkolzin, or like right now they have Savoy up there on the second line, and fix that third line and get Dickinson back, one of the best shutdown centers in the league, and pray to God he stays healthy because he's injured a lot. And that's it, man. If that don't work, oh man. The Swerve in the chat says just about that decision to pass on Wallstat in the draft. I hope for their sake, for whatever reason, Wallstat said to his agent that for some reason he didn't want to go to Edmonton, because if it was just because they thought he wasn't going to work out or whatever, that was an absolutely diabolical. That draft, they moved down. Minnesota moved up to get Wallstat, and they actually traded down and got Borjo, who hasn't even played like 10 games in the league yet or something like that. Man, oh man. I would rather make the pick, and if the guy didn't work out, at least you can say you tried to get a goaltender. I don't know. It's that's why I'm not an Edmonton Oilers fan anymore. I can't stand it. I said it in the beginning of this year. I renege my Oilerdom, and I am not an Oilers fan. Now, I will say this. I will be a fan of any team if they bring in great management, they get a good analytics group, and they build a team that's really cool, that is obviously driven, that competes, that knows how to win. They'll do anything to win, and it's analytics driven. I'm a Florida Panthers fan now for that reason. And if they ever change, I'm not a Florida. I made a pact with myself. I'm not banging my head anymore against the wall with management that is clueless, non-progressive, and not able to look at what the landscape of what the world is now and adapt. I am not going to be a fan of that. I don't care if it's living in my city. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I don't care what country it is. I don't care. I'm only going to root for teams that actually have an intelligent group of people running it, and that's it. And if Florida changes and they don't, guess what? I won't be a Florida Panthers fan either.
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from the horse's mouth.
I have no loyalty whatsoever to stupidity. No.
There you go. That's why I've gotten to a point now where I don't have emotional ties anymore to teams.
Yeah.
I'm a Steelers fan. Yeah, I'm a Flyers fan, but I've removed my emotional ties to these teams because of that very reason, Prolo. I am so sick and tired of the stupidity, right? Mm-hmm. I'm so sick and tired of the fact that Mike Tomlin was coaching 10 years long after he should have been coaching there with the Steelers. And I'm sick and tired of the fact that Philadelphia for the last 10 years has done nothing but hire and fire general managers and coaches. Right?
Well, I think you can finally be happy that they're doing something now. I think they're doing
right. But I removed that emotional, you know, I had to. I had to, man, because plus it makes it easier when you put the analytics hat on. You know what I mean? And you make it, you know, so I'd much rather look at the team analytically and go, well, okay, yeah, they have a lot of holes. They need a lot of things fixed in this team for them to be able to be successful, and this is how they can do it.
Yeah. I know I had Edmonton Oilers fans, so you think you just know more than these NHL managers or whatever? And I'm like, sadly, yes. That's the sad That should not be.
Some of them.
Yeah.
I would go with some of them.
No, I'm talking about in Edmonton, just Edmonton, because they were
okay, all right.
We're just talking about Edmonton. You know, the New Jersey just hired Maida from Florida. I'm not going to sit here and say I know more than that dude. That dude has done incredible things with analytics and that with that team and all of those sort of things like that. Zito and their assistant general manager, I probably couldn't hold water sitting with those guys. That's the team I want to root for. I do not want to sit. I don't want to root for a team that I honestly think I can do better than managing. Then I do not want to root for that team. That's forget about that. I want to root for a team
kind of buy that.
The elite of the elite running an elite organization in an elite league. That's the team I want to go for. And Florida Panthers have that. And I think watch out for New Jersey. I think Maida's going to do a good job there.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's my full 42. I think we spent a good hour going over
I think we're at 84 on this one.
Oh no, I don't have that. I know a lot of people say that. Like I think you gave more.
See, you're
if
42
I had
and
more,
my
I would
42.
give more. I don't have it. So
no. You're 42 and my 42.
Oh yes, 84, full 84. Put it together, we almost got 100%.
Yeah, right.
But I do give 100% of my 42 to all of you, my friend.
Right, all the time.
That's
all the
for
time.
Sure. Absolutely. I get my 14 naps in a day just so I can punt, just so I can bring it. Get my game face on.
14 naps.
All of those things. Yes, 14 naps a day. Go check out my workout video. Check out my nap videos. The benefits of 14 naps a day and how to accomplish it.
And don't forget
write a book before I
don't forget about the Jaime's
Body Lib. Jaime's Body Lib. It's the best there. I said it.
There you go. Jaime's,
yes.
But the Jaime's exotic picks.
Pistachio for the season. Yes, Rico and Perla's House of Exotic Jaime's Picks Frolic. That's coming on in about an hour and 20 minutes. You'll be able to watch me basically say a lot of the things I just said. No, that's true, not true. I'm going to go over the series. I'm going to go over the games tomorrow. And tomorrow at 10:30 a.m., the forecheck with exotic wagers, the parlay Dre, the parlay king, guys just hit like I think he made like $5,000 last week in parlays. He's incredible. And of course, Statmaster J, Jonathan Davis, reporter for the LA Kings, also is on Sirius NHL Radio.
We got to get him on here, Perlo.
He's excellent.
We got to get him on here on Puck and Deep.
Yeah, he's a busy guy, but we'll see what we can do. But this guy and his stats, man, unbelievable. So good. He is incredible. He's helped me out a lot. He'll help you out a lot too. He's just like, you can say like, how many empty net goals did the Philadelphia Flyers have on the road last year? It's like 7. Freaking incredible. Like you can just ask him anything. He's got it.
Awesome.
Awesome. He's incredible. So what about you, dude? You have RNJ Media. What do you got?
Yeah, man. Thank you very much for having me on here, man. Another great episode of Puck and Deep, man, for sure. You got to check that out. We're still facing technical difficulties here at RNJ. We're still it's going to be a minute here until we get a computer so that we can do production of shows. So hang tight with me. We're still fighting for that. We're still on par to get something here soon. So as soon as that happens, man, we'll be up and running again. But until then, we get to do this great programming here with the great Pearl of Wisdom. Check me out on X at RNJ_media. Thank you all very much, man. Appreciate it.
Right. Okay. That's all we got. Next time, we'll talk more playoffs, I imagine. Look at the offseason. We got the draft coming up, dude.
I know, man. I'm excited, dude. I'm super excited.
We got the lotto coming up in 3 days, too. We're going to find out who's got that number 1 pick. That's going to be pretty cool.
Ain't going to be the Flyers.
Oh, how much it would burn. Oh, by the way, well, I'll mention two things here before we go. How much would it burn for the Toronto Maple Leafs to have one of the teams go below them go up and they get 6th in that draft and they lose it to the Boston Bruins? Oh my gosh, that would be brutal. I think it's a 50-50 flip that will happen. And
that
even if they do win it,
burn, man, that would be a serious
and even
burn.
if they do get it, the next year it's unprotected. So if they suck as bad as they do this year, they don't even have a chance on it. So, I mean, my gosh. And by the way, I mentioned this before the season. It's not over yet. We'll see what he does for the rest of this year. But I've said it. I'm going to say it again. Mitchell Marner is going to have an incredible playoffs. And it has nothing to do with he couldn't handle the pressure in Toronto. He was overused in the regular season. I've said it again. I'll say it again. He had much easier deployment in Vegas. He was able to not be so taxed come playoff time. And here we are. He got 2 goals in the finals in Game 6. Watch him keep on going, man. He is going to play really, really well. I bet he gets 5 to 6 points in this next series. And the only reason why I'm saying 5 to 6 points is because I think it's probably going to go 5. So
yeah.
So, all right.
Thanks everybody for tuning in, man. Appreciate you.
Take care, everybody. See you next time.